There we go. Oh, here's Ben. Okay. All right. Welcome everybody. Um, Thank you for being here, and apologies to Aaron and my wife Kim for ruining their evening by not remembering to reschedule this before. They were gonna have a lovely little art evening, but alas, it was not to be. Um, Let me just pull up the agenda. Oh, here. Okay. All right, let's do the pledge. We might not have a flag in here, so we will just aim towards the flags in there that we know are right there. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
America,
republic for which it
for which
stands,
it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with
indivisible,
liberty and
liberty and
justice for
justice
all.
for all.
All right. Thank you, guys. That reminds me that, well, amongst a very exciting, although ultimately sad end to the Hozho football season, we had the best vocal. Did you notice this anthem? The guy, great singer,
Oh, yeah.
messed up the national anthem. He
Hilarious.
just got lost and then went back.
And like, the verse, like, it was like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
It's
But like, yeah,
it's like something
yeah,
like
yeah. Uh, um, yeah.
Kind of bring your index card with you.
So I want to start with two just community things, and that's one of them. But I think first, I just wanted to put in this a recognition and a moment of silence can be quick for Sammy C, who such a there's no one you can compare to in the community in terms of people who have done so much and made such an impact in terms of just creating opportunity and getting people involved in good stuff and spreading information and everything else. And yeah, I mean, it was shockingly fast and sad. And so I wanted to acknowledge him here. We could just take a moment and okay. All right. He will be missed. Uh,
It was such a beautiful thing that our football team went to state on the day of his funeral.
yeah,
Just kept
yeah,
thinking about all those young boys who started in TDFL, I'm sure.
yeah,
And had the opportunity to play football younger so that they
yeah.
have that opportunity to go to state.
I know. Yeah.
Just really
I saw Era. I was talking to Era about it. Era, she said that was the first person she met when she moved here because she came and I guess went to sign Zach up for TDFL. Yeah. So along those lines, I did also just want to in this forum kind of address the football season because I think there is something, I mean, there's something in there that I think is, very relevant to kind of what we're trying to do beyond just the success of the season. And so I'll give you, as I think, I was coaching the team and it was one of the most fun and meaningful things I've ever done just to be with those boys. And it was just a special season. It was similar. I had a special season my senior year of high school too, went on a similar run. But, and I've, thinking about it, processing it, and like what I think is, athletic success is cool. It's fun. I think it's good for the school. But I think what I'm really so impressed with is, and I think it kind of speaks to the whole ethos that we have here is, you know, the football team, that was their third year. And it was, I think if you'd asked anybody's outside advice before we started playing, it would have been not yet. Do a bunch of other sports yet. And I remember even that first season, I think people were telling Kyle, do 8-man or do something else. Like this is too much. And and it was it was almost too much. And these guys took a beating in their first season. We only had freshmen and sophomore and going out and playing a varsity schedule and taking their licks. And last year it was like a little bit better and like, kind of came a little bit closer to having 500, but it was still like you have to either be incredibly brave or just like naive to do what we did. And I think it is brave. And and the reward paid off this year. And we were one of the best teams in the state in our division. We made it to the semifinals. We played the, two-time defending state champ who has been to the final 3 years in a row. And, we ended up losing. And I think, if we play them 100 times, maybe we win 10 of those. But we were there. And we were there because we didn't wait for everything to be easy. We didn't wait for, to take care of some other stuff first before we do this. And I think that has been kind of the history of Hozho and why we are here, 7 years later at pre-K through 12, 750, 800 students. And so it was cool to see, and I'd never really thought that through until like just kind of thinking, on the bus ride home. And, it's another example of where maybe people think we're crazy or, doing a transportation program in year 5 when, we have to front the money for it. But it was, that's the proof that what we're doing has merit and is going to take us to some really special places. So
God's on our side.
yep, yeah. it, and like it only happens like not only did they endure it, but they committed to it. Like you don't get like everyone was all in, just bought in, and it's not just I'll be there if it's good or whatever. Just fully in, and it's so cool to see. Such great kids we have too.
And that goes beyond football.
Yes, and that's the point of sports. Thanks, guys. Yeah. So, okay. There you go. Yeah. Let's do roll call real quick. Gabriel Sook present. Aaron Montano. Spring King. Bill Lee. I don't think Bill is here. Rebecca Boucher.
Here.
There you go. Ben Masick.
Here.
Julianne. I'm sorry. I mean, Katie, we got to take Terry off. I forgot about that. So, and Terry Frazier, unfortunately, has had to step down due to state conflict of interest.
No, so she should be on this one. We're
She should or
voting.
should not.
We're voting her off
Oh,
tonight.
so we had her letter last time. Okay, good. So we'll put Terry absent. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not official until she. Okay, good.
Yeah, she's getting voted off the island tonight, and then she won't be on next time. Yeah.
She volunteered to get voted off. So
Yes, she volunteered. Yeah.
okay. For consent agenda, no corrections. So we need to approve today's agenda, approve the September and October minutes. I guess we've got to do that. Approve 2025 bank reconciliation and check registers. And do we have any bars?
No bars.
No bars. Whoa. Can't remember last time we had no bars.
We're gonna get a lot, like things are running late. We're gonna get a lot, maybe December, but definitely January. January and February, we're gonna have a lot of bars.
Yeah, Julianne's on, I think. Or she was. Yes, she is. She's there. Julianne and Dan are here. Yep. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
The November agenda as well as the minutes from September and October.
I'll second that. Okay. All right. Aaron, how do you vote? Bryn, how do you vote? Rebecca, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ben, how do you vote?
Sorry, Gabe, I missed the motion. My computer's on.
We are voting to approve the November 2025 agenda, the September and October minutes, and the 2025 bank reconciliation and check registers. And there are no bars. And so everyone else voted. We just need to know how you're going to vote.
Aye. Is my computer working?
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Perfect.
Thanks, man. Okay, as just previously alluded to, the sad duty to accept. Dan, is this correct? Are we accepting her resignation or?
I think that's fine to say we're accepting the resignation.
Okay. Okay. And then just while I have you on, Dan, just for the nuts and bolts of this, Julianne, we will need to fill something out and get it to the PEC within a month. Is that correct?
That's correct. We have 30 days to get the paperwork in, but I think they may have, actually, I think we need to upload it to Epicenter. So Dan, do you have the most recent paperwork that we need? I think they may have changed it. If not, I'll look for it when I
We'll
get
send it
back.
to you. Yeah, we'll send it over.
Okay.
Thank-
Oh, okay. Bryn, let me talk. Bryn has a question about our bank reconciliation. Go ahead.
I saw that there's a cargo van. Is that's been purchased? What's that being used for?
Ooh. I like having a cargo van.
Me too.
Uh, Katie, did you hear that question?
No. Mm-mm.
Sorry. Bryn is asking about the cargo van, or I guess Katie or Julianne. So we got a cargo van, I guess that's your question, Bryn? Okay.
And is it?
I think we have a, I don't know if it's a van, I don't know what, it's a utility vehicle.
Hmm.
Yes. Maybe it's a van, but yeah, we did purchase that with capital outlay money.
Oh, good. What's that?
It's being used for the lunch program. The one
Ah,
that they have is not adequate. The people who help with the lunch have to put several lunches on their lap when they drive. So
did we
we had to
acquire the
get a van
lunch
that could,
lady vehicle? Did we just like take over the vehicle
yes,
and okay. All right.
we did. We took that, well, we paid for that, but that one wasn't adequate.
Yeah,
So
it is
they're going
kind
to
of a
use that one
small.
for maintenance.
Okay.
They're going to use that one for maintenance, and then we're going to use the other van for the lunch program.
I love it. I'm just setting. Okay. All right. So, as she said when she was at the end of last month's board meeting, due to conflict of interest laws, Terry's had to is having to step down. She has submitted her letter of resignation, and we just need to vote to accept her letter of resignation. So do I have a motion to accept Terry Frazier's resignation?
I motion to accept Terry Frazier's resignation.
Thank you, Ben, and I will second that. Um, Aaron, motion by Ben and seconded by Gabe. All right, Aaron, how do you vote? Bryn, Rebecca,
Aye.
and I also vote aye. All right, Terry. Well, I know you're not here, but we will miss you, and we are sad to lose you on our team. But we know we will see you often, and I still, we should still use her as a resource. I mean, she has such a unique experience. So, um, okay, the recruiter policy. Julianne, would you like to add any context here? I think.
So just that we in applying for NCAA, our application, the process, they needed to have certain policies in our handbook, and one of them was a recruiter policy, which we hadn't had to have up to this point. So I believe it's just standard language, and kind of follows the
We
rules
don't
of law.
have to
Hopefully,
let them in, but if we do let them in, we have to we can't let Army in and not Navy and Marines. Is that essentially what it's saying?
essentially it's just outlining so that parents know they can opt out
Hmm.
or that sort of thing. Um, so just outlining how recruiters, not just Army, Navy, but college or any other
Oh, okay, okay.
would
Okay.
would come in.
It says like armed forces at the beginning. I just got confused. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it was interesting. I remember along these lines when I was in high school doing like selective service sign up at high school or something. But Brandon Bonanguidi turned 18 on Saturday, and I said, he's apparently they already or they just mail it to you now or something. Oh, draft stuff. Yeah. So okay, so this is pretty straightforward.
Did we get the policy sent to us in our emails? Because I'm not seeing
Let
it.
me send it right now. If we didn't, that it could have been my fault.
I sent it to Gabe today. I'm sorry about that. I'm not at this. I'm in Albuquerque
Yes.
at the NICU, so
Yeah, Julianne, do you
I
want to
didn't get a
share
chance.
your, life update?
Oh,
Brief
while
or?
you're looking for it, just that my daughter Julia had a baby and came down with an infection, and so he had to go to the NICU here in Albuquerque. He's still here, but we believe he's on the mend.
Oh, we're
Well,
such prayers for you.
we are sad
Thank,
about the
thank you.
hospitalization, but thrilled about the it's just very exciting. So, all right, uh here, let me just hold on a second. I will share this to you guys. Um here I'll um okay. Sorry guys.
So that's
but it is, and I'm going to share it to you, and then I'm just going to kind of go over it really quickly. But it is just a pretty straightforward document. Um,
it was in Katie's email.
oh, it was. Oh, okay. So you guys, okay, it's in the pack. Okay. So Ben, it should be in the packet from Katie. It's basically saying all recruiters representing post-secondary educational institutions, employers, and branches of these armed forces shall be provided equal access to students and student information in accordance with this policy. Um, I mean, I think it's trying to, make sure that schools aren't steering people. Oh, this is, we like you to go to these colleges, not these places. And then I think also just making sure it's done in a way that is kind of not, you know, interrupting or taking precedence over academics and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, now I'm seeing it. I these
Okay.
PDF files are getting mixed up on my computer. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. All right. Do we have a motion to approve the recruiter policy?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Aaron.
Second.
Bryn seconds. All right. Aaron, how do you vote? Bryn? Rebecca?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
And I also vote aye. Okay, calendar update. This. I'll find my packet because I'm.
So just the information on this is that the Department of Ed makes decisions about what they consider a day or an instructional hour or instructional day. And so they reviewed our calendar based on the one that we published online. And there were some things that they needed us to verify. And one of the things was our open house. They're not going to allow us to count that day. And so we've had to take that day off the calendar. And a couple of days that were remote days, we switched them to this week instead of at the end of the school year. And then they had questions about what Jumpstart was. They had questions about what December 22nd was. But basically, we had to go through our calendar with a fine tooth comb and make some adjustments. Nothing's really changing as far as the days on the calendar other than what the Department of Ed characterizes them. And so how we have to characterize them in the OBMS system, that's what we had to have the board just reapprove the calendar. So the differences, I believe, Katie, if correct, it's the open house in August that has to come off. We're not allowed to receive any funding for that day. And then the 2 remote days that were at the end of the school year are now going to be, we're going to count them as the last 2, the Monday and Tuesday, yesterday and today on this calendar. So
That's correct.
other than that, I think it's the same.
Julianne, who specifically is doing this, and was it part of like some other process, or is it just like, was it out of the blue, or?
So
It's never happened in 8 years.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Katie.
Yeah. No, so that's pretty much what I would say. Like and it's a different level of scrutiny than we've ever dealt with these calendars. So 2 years ago, these calendars started to be linked to your funding in a very specific way, like essentially counting all the days. And then it's just gotten more and more arduous. And they've changed the rules because last year we were allowed to have like a orientation days and instructional day, but this year we're not. And so whether that was published and it was in the fine details and we missed it, or if it was published sometime, because like we were given materials in March and many changes are made before, by the end of May. And so who knows when this happened. And this Hozho is not the only school dealing with this. So, but you guys have like really very minor changes. Yeah, it is frustrating though to like Julian's trying to educate children and trying to get them to school. but we spent a lot of
Yeah.
time talking to the bureaucrats.
And this changes nothing about any of that. And it doesn't even, it's not even like changing what we're doing. Well, I guess it seems
Did
like
we,
someone was simple, but I would say like at some point, if we want to push back or if people start to push back, like, I'm all for that. It just seems like, I don't know, like they kind of nickel and dime us on these things, but it's like, it takes time. We're talking about it now. And, you know, I, I don't see how it serves anyone's interest than other than maybe like giving somebody, more responsibility at the state level.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bryn,
Well, the December 22nd that you briefly mentioned.
asking about December 22nd.
I didn't hear the question. Can you repeat
Someone was
her
asking about
question?
something you mentioned something
Oh,
about December 22nd.
yeah, they wanted me to give them the basically the agenda for that day, and because they wanted to determine whether or not the things that we were planning on doing are fall within allowable um, the allowable things that will enable us to receive funding for that day. So we're going to do some plays and we're going to do some performances, but instead of trying to do that, I'm just going to call it a regular school day and just have it be like a normal
Yeah.
day. We'll still have the plays and we'll still do all those things, but I told them we're just going to have it be a regular school day.
Yeah, make sure to come to the play. See Tommy Sook as Charlie Brown.
so
Oh yeah.
Julianne, just to
Oh,
clarify this, so the open house day, we didn't get qualified to get paid for as a normal school day, and then
That's
we had to
correct.
shift over 2 remote learning days into fall break. Is that what I'm getting?
We were already going to be calling them remote days. It's just somehow there are different ways that you characterize it in the OBMS, their payment system or whatever, the financial system. So just for whatever reason, they were always going to be remote days. It's just however they were characterized was not in the language that they needed at the PED. So
are,
we gave
are
them
we
the
given
right
a
language.
are we given a quota of remote days that we can use every year, or how is that governed?
Yes. Yep. We have a certain remote, a certain number. I think it's 4.
Um, eh, is there, Katie, that you know of, um, or Dan, is there language that is governing is there published language that is going to dictate how these uh how the calendar is assessed, how the day is, how these things are, if there's a dispute, how it's adjudicated?
Yeah,
It-
there's an NMAC regulation on calendar that is what they're using. Um, I mean, we've kind of already talked about this, but it's being interpreted more. Well, the regulation is fairly new from this administration, and their approach to kind of enforcing it is more, I don't know, stringent than it has been in the past.
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
Because really, your calendar was already approved
Yes, it
by the
has, and that,
state,
yes.
but yeah.
That makes this even better.
But now they're like taking a second look, basically. So it's frustrating.
Um, I mean, I'm all for us as we look towards 26, 27 to, if they're going to, I mean, maybe there is no room to make it benefit us, but if they're going to come down on us, I mean, for, intelligent, decisions we're making to try and better our children, then maybe we need to be, I don't know. I'm not like, more strategic about how we structure our calendar. I guess that's what I would say. And make sure, if I think that if we have to change things slightly or whatever else, but it feels kind of like we're getting dinged for being fully transparent and honest. And maybe there, it's which we always will be, but maybe the way that we structure kind of these non-traditional days, if we can find, because I think these things are so important. Having something like December 22nd, like that is part of being a student, and so anyway, I guess that's a conversation for another day, but it's frustrating. Okay,
Yeah.
so uh would like to, I will motion to approve the calendar update.
I second the motion.
You, all right. Aaron, how do you vote?
Aye.
Bryn, Rebecca,
Aye.
I vote aye. Oh, Ben, sorry, Ben.
Aye.
All right. So next year I have a statement. The purpose of this is that, and I guess I didn't prepare as much as I thought I was going to do, but I just want to put into the public record a comment, and I will maybe supplement it with some data, but just let me at how uh, fantastic of a job our principal is doing, and because we did a lot of that behind closed doors. I know that I said I have a written summary and it is finished, but I finished it today. I just didn't send it out to everybody. So for our purposes, I will send that out after this and send it to everyone, including Julianne, because Katie said, maybe it's better done in writing. Some people don't like hearing praise, but anyway, so yeah, but yes, and then the way so for that document, that's just if anyone on the board wants to edit or modify anything before we finalize it and it goes into the HR file, great. But I just wanted to, and I think maybe we said a little something. I wanted to put in the agenda and just say that, we are lucky to have the principal that we have, and we are thankful, and we, have some of those things written down, specified it out. But yeah, I wanted to make sure that that was the no that would be yeah.
Thank you, Gabe. That's kind of you.
Yeah. Julianne and Katie, I do want to decide now, or the board. So we did this in end of October. And just to streamline it for future years, end of October probably isn't the most logical month. What should we target? I want to make sure that we just kind of do it again every year. We've got the evaluation form. We've got the kind of the process down. What do you guys think is the best month to do this process again next year and going forward?
It's usually March or April
Okay.
because you're doing it before the next contract is issued.
Okay. All right. And is everyone okay with that? Because then we'll just put that. I mean, this will be 2027, I guess. I mean, it's way far in the future, but that I just want to have that, and then we could just know this is the month that we do it. And okay, good. Okay. We need to, as part, Katie, do we just need to approve the contract, or is there anything else that we need to do with this?
No, you just need to essentially so Julianne and I were talking about the contract today, so there's some tweaks they need to make to it.
Okay.
So they just need to approve the contract, but they can approve essentially you approving the contract.
Okay, great. And the only material change in it is the raise that we approved at the last meeting, although I don't know if we actually voted. So I think essentially what we're doing is kind of formalizing the approval of the raise that we discussed, and this will be this is the
And that you can sign it on behalf
yes.
of the
So I would like to request that. Am I requesting that we designate that I can sign the contract on the board's behalf, essentially?
Yes.
Okay. So I would like us to vote to approve designating me to sign the updated principal's contract that will include the raise that we discussed and voted on at the last meeting. Do I have a motion for that?
I will move
Thank you, Bryn. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Rebecca. All right. Aaron, how do you vote? Bryn, Rebecca,
Aye.
Ben.
Did we get a hard copy on that contract? Sorry.
No, it's still being worked through. But I can send around to you guys if you want. Maybe I'll send around if you want, and before I sign it, just in case there's anything you wanted to offer input on.
I would just prefer a hard copy before we voted on it necessarily, not because we didn't talk about it last meeting,
Sure,
but
sure.
just,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to postpone anything.
No, no, no. But you can also vote nay. This is what I was trying to say to Eric.
Well, we
We
talked
need a
about
nay
it. We did
vote,
have the
man. We are
discussion.
desperate for a nay vote.
No, I just want it would be helpful to have because again, on the last conversation we had on keeping up to date on this stuff
Yep.
is again, I have a lot going on right now, and so keeping track of this stuff is helpful. Getting a hard copy. Is it possible we
Yep.
postpone it until the next meeting, or is that I don't know.
I just wouldn't want
What's
to.
the rule?
I don't necessarily want to do that because I'm not sure that we're going to meet in December, and I would,
Okay.
like to get it finalized. But I would just say I am 100% understand and agree with kind of where you're coming from on it.
Can we just actually verbalize then what we agreed upon in the last meeting?
Yes, sure. Katie, do you have that?
No, it was a closed session, so we didn't take any notes. But the total for the contract, is that what you want?
Yes. So, or
So-
it's a we
Sorry,
approved, I believe, a
We approved the
$25,000
raise on the
raise,
last. Yeah.
right? And so the $25,000 raise is the only material change
Right.
to the contract. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. And then we're outlining her scope of her work in more detail, but that's
Yes.
that's
Yeah,
what's
so-
taking not a long time, but it's just time I needed to get to Julianne and talk to her.
This is another thing, Ben, where we're just using this as an opportunity to kind of upgrade what what we have. I think it was maybe a little boilerplate for a while, and so just trying to get that. But the only thing that would be different from the contract as it is currently, in existence, is the $25,000 raise.
So
Which-
what's the total sum? Because I know we talked about it. It's been a month, and I've
I think
had
it's
baby in between there, so I
yeah.
don't remember.
I think it's 160.
Wait, no, hold on.
Katie will get it. I think it's around
169.
okay.
169.
169. Okay, great. So that represents, the 25,000 raise, and then I assume I can send you kind of the old one and the new. I haven't seen the new one we're working on yet, but I think it gives us something too that when I guess I don't know if anyone's ever come and wanted to look at our HR files, but it's kind of the way it should be, that it's not just saying you're the principal, but maybe saying more of what the principal is, and then that gives us something to go and say at the next review, okay, this is the scope of your responsibilities, or kind of.
Yeah, my big thing is like I do not want to run Hojo like big government, and I don't want to be like Hillary Clinton or Nancy Pelosi that says, we gotta sign off on it, and then we'll figure out what's in this first. Like that's my big concern. Is like I'd like to have the documentation first, and then we can vote on it, because it seems backwards on
Yeah,
that. That's
well, you can vote nay. I don't want to delay it, but I agree with you, but I just don't like. I think that the point that you're making is the correct point, and that's kind of like how we would like things to be done. I think because we already voted on the change, and it's like, I think if there's something in there where it was like, oh, she also gets a car. I don't like, I don't think that.
I just want to see what we're voting on. My big concern is again, I'm not trying to hold this up, is I agree Julianne needs a raise. I'd like to see this stuff because it seems like this is the stuff that we're trying to implement within the school, is that if you're going to be voting on stuff, is having the propriety of what we're voting on, so it's clearly implemented.
Right.
And again, this is no insult to Julianne, because I really do think she does deserve the raise. I just want to see what we're voting on.
Yeah, but I guess let me just clarify this though, because what we're voting on is not the contract then. What we're voting on is designating me as somebody who has the board's approval to sign the contract.
We did vote on it in our closed session last
I,
night.
I don't know if, yeah, I don't know if that was even, I can't remember when it was, but so we are not, Ben, at this point, this is not saying contract is approved. What it is saying is when the contract is done, that I will have the authority to sign it on behalf of the board. So it's kind of, along your point, it is, I guess it's removing, um, it, it's removing a, you know,
Second eyes.
well, I mean, I think we could send it around to everybody. Um, but it's not like it's not just saying, okay, school, go take care of it. It's saying me as representing the board and representing kind of how all of us, want this to be run. It is giving me the authority that once, uh, the contract is done, and assuming that the only thing that it includes is kind of what we've already discussed, then I will sign it. But it's not approving the contract. But at the end of the day, uh, the contract is only going to be signed by me anyways. It's not that we're going to go around and have everyone sign it. So from that standpoint, it's basically saying, I don't know, I guess what it's saying is you trust my, judgment that I will not sign something that doesn't align with what the board agreed to. I guess that would be my point.
Yeah, and again, that makes sense. I'm just looking at this and going like if we're approving that, we're approving the raise, and I would just like to see it the paperwork wise because it seems like the appropriate, you know,
Yeah,
method
no,
here.
Ben,
Anyways,
totally.
if that's what we're voting on, I would just say nay for my vote because I'd like
Okay.
to the
Yeah.
actual
No,
approval.
that's
I'll throw the first nay in there.
I that's Ben, I appreciate the nay and I appreciate what you said. And I think, you are 1,000% right on just like, I think what we run into here and this is just something we have to fix over the long term is that we are kind of always, at least I feel like we're always like a little bit behind where we wanted to be. And I think there's a, there's a line that some things should get punted. Some things like should get, okay, but it's also like, I think upholding the kind of the uh, the the values that you're espousing, that you're advocating for here. Like, can we do that, but still kind of maintain the pace that we need to keep pushing forward? And I think this is probably on the far end of the examples of how not ideally want to do stuff. But I also think that this is a public meeting. All of this is being recorded. There's nothing underhanded about it, so that um, I feel
Yeah,
confident.
I think we're on the same page, Gabe.
Okay.
I think Julianne deserves the raise. I'm 100% on board with that. My
It's
thing
the
is
process. Yep.
the process, and I would like to know if we're voting on something. I'd like to see because within our, and again, I'm sorry because I'm
No.
caught up
Ben,
with family stuff,
I think
but
Ed,
with the to approve the updated principals contract is what's on the agenda. And so when I'm looking at that and I'm going, okay, I'd like to see what that approval is for, just
right.
because again, that whole conversation that we had previously, Gabe, is participating more within this.
Yep.
And that's the part where I feel like we can all participate more is going, what are we actually voting on? Where's the actual substance of the thing that we're voting on? So that it's within, the writing.
100%.
So
Yeah, Ben, I appreciate you.
sorry, Julianne, for the nay.
Now all we need, Aaron, what's it called? Do you remember? You can abstain. That is the other thing. You can be here and you cannot vote. Aaron's going to work on that. She owes us one for next week. And then I guess like Katie, going forward, do we have to do we sign a new contract every year, or is it just kind of like it? Okay. So
No, all state employees sign, well, all school employees sign new contracts every year. Mhm.
okay.
There's one exception for the head administrator. You can do a multi-year contract up to
Okay.
3 years, but otherwise they have to sign every year.
Yeah. Ben, I know you're very busy with new babies and stuff like that, but maybe you could, if you're up for it, work on a little process for us. Like again, I want us all these things that we have to that we know we're going to have to do. They will come up, and I think we are like I said, I just for good reason because we as a school are moving so fast and growing so fast, we can end up a little bit behind. But Ben, if you would be open to it, and I know this is maybe like a kind of overkill for a relatively small thing, but just have a write up a little process for, this is the policy for when, for how we when we are going to reassess the principal's contract. This is how we want to do it. These are, the months that we want to be doing. We could review here, approve, edit, or whatever. If you'd be up for taking a little crack at that, it doesn't have to be big or complex, but it's just like it is adding something that we're like, I don't know, if we were all in a plane crash, God forbid, hopefully going someplace wonderful, and a new board came in, they would know exactly how to do this because we have it, not just the process behind it, but also kind of like, yes. So you don't have to answer that now, Ben, but if you want to think about that, I think
Yeah, I know. I'd love to do that stuff. I'm again, maybe I'm misunderstanding it because it just seems like we're missing the paperwork that's supposed to come off from our closed session. Is that right, Katie? Like, or is there no paperwork that comes with
there's
that?
no Dan can answer that, but I don't think
No,
there's
the closed session is a closed session. There's no voting, there's no paperwork, there's no notes,
There's no minutes or anything.
So we don't have anything that goes into the updated contract. Like,
But we have
again, I'm just looking at this and going like, we're voting on an updated contract, correct? Shouldn't we have the contract updated before we vote on it, like the hard copy?
So we can do that in the future. I think typically, like, I don't know, it's done different ways in different boards. Some boards just say, we're renewing your contract, and the board president will deal with the details. So it's up to you all. But if this board would like a copy of the contract with all the details, we can definitely get that to you next time. But given that the vote has already been taken, then we should probably move on. And then, but Gabe can send around what we do have as our final version.
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, we have
Yeah, a policy would be good to have in place so that it's a consistent thing, like what you're saying, Mark, if you feel, and if we all, because I agree with you, I think that, I'm fine moving ahead because of our discussion, but I think that it is good to have that stated clearly in a policy so that future boards, like this is the process that we do when we are evaluating, we have the hard copy of what the present contract is so that we can review it and then vote on it.
Well, isn't it also just the fact too that it's not just like a continuation of the contract, it's a change in the contract? Sorry, Katie, I know you're getting
No, I thought I'm just trying to move it along. So
okay, that's fine. I agree with the raise. Like I don't have any problems with that. I'm just looking at this again. I'm somewhat new to this, so I'm trying to figure out the proper way of going about it. So when I'm voting or something and I'm putting my signature on it, I prefer to have the documentation that I can see,
yeah.
And maybe the Zoom makes that stuff obsolete because people can go back and look at it and say this was discussed.
I think the confusion just came from having the closed session, but I think that was necessary
Okay.
to talk about the topic at hand.
Yeah.
So next year, if we do this, like even if we do it this March, like it will be I think a little smoother process because we will be following the right timeline.
Okay.
Other thing I'll just say for the benefit of everyone is the contract itself is largely prescribed by a form from the state. So we're really not kind of like reinventing the wheel with the contract. It's more of just the dollar amount, frankly.
Yeah.
We're just okay with that raise.
Yeah, which is something that we did vote to approve. And I think in the agenda, I could have written it better where again, it's not actually approving it. What we said and what will be reflected in the minutes is that we are designating, giving me approval. So, it adds at least some layer of it. So, Ben, thank you. I want you to keep hitting like that. I think that is what we need. And I think that everything you're saying is great. And I think it's really important for the board. So, okay, we have principal report up. Bryn, I'm going to ask you, can you give us a report at some point? I don't know if you want to, okay. Maybe we'll save it, the Bryn, the special just update, casual update from Bryn. Julianne, do you have anything for us? And then, um,
She's
Can
on.
you
Yeah,
hear
I mean,
me?
yes, now we
yes,
can.
there you are.
Okay. All right. Yes. Let me pull it up here. Um, so enrollment is 850. Percentage Native American, 57%. I don't have the exact number for the wait list, but I know it's over 200. We've finally been awarded the CSP grant for $1.5 million towards our expansion.
Good job, you guys.
Yes, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. So Katie sent me a bridal bouquet. Um, thanks, Katie. And then we completed our tribal consultation for the fall. We've asked Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright, to be the speaker at graduation. We're still awaiting his response for that. And we're having an open house to share information with parents, and you're all welcome to attend. That's December 4. I believe it's 4:30 to 7:30. And so that's all I have. That's updated news.
Um,
Can you go into more of what that to share, like what a classical school is, like what is she sharing at the open house?
Yeah, we are doing it primarily as an attempt to educate families about attendance and follow up with some things like what is classical education and how what are some clubs that kids can be involved. So it's just another attempt to give families information and to bring families to the school. So primarily with the issue is attendance, but there are all sorts of other things that we'll be sharing with them as well.
and this
December
is the
4th.
first time we're doing this specific.
First time we're doing this as this strategy.
Okay.
We've tried other things, but trying to communicate what the attendance policy is. We sent out the survey and we asked families, what do you think is a reasonable amount of time that a student can miss in a year? And everyone said this majority of families said 0 to 10 days. And then how many days did your student miss last year? Majority of people said 0 to 10 days. However, we have
Oh,
22%, I believe, chronic absenteeism school-wide. So people are not, they're people, I think they're just losing track. So we're trying to educate people about the importance of attendance in addition to other things that we'll be sending out as information that evening.
okay. I will try and come to that. Julianne, when is Pack the Bus and or the bus event or whatever? Is that coming up or it's
It's
Monday?
I think it's Monday, yeah.
Okay. Is there anything the board can do to help or to kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
can we reschedule it if it is or like what's the
No.
oh
No, it happened before. We had a snow day before also. But
um
I think if we call a snow day, then yes, we could essentially have it on a different day. We'd have to work with the pet as far as what day that was, but that happened the very first year.
is there any like okay can I like can I do if there's anything I can do I would write a letter to every parent I would call everybody it's 750 call well there's probably siblings so that's probably only like 600 I would do anything it's so important and it just feels so it's also very frustrating that this is how we've decided to do this but if there's anything I can do the board can do I will do
Well,
anything to try and help with this.
we we offer prizes and giveaways, and we have a flyer that we send out, and we'll send out a reminder also. But the thing is, with a foot of snow heading our way Sunday night to Monday morning, it's absolutely the worst possible day to do a bus count.
Can
So I
can we get like some like crazy like let's put an iPad in there or something. I'll get an iPad. Or like what do people like these days?
Well, but Julie,
Yeah, how do
if it's a snow day though, if we call a snow day, then it gets rescheduled.
then that gets rescheduled, yes, but then we have to make up that day at the end of the school year. So we'll evaluate when it
Okay.
gets closer.
Uh, well, you know what? Oh,
Sorry, that's me, sorry.
okay, hold on. Got it?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
So hard for me to figure out.
Hold
It
on a
took me
second.
forever just
Oh,
to
you know what? I can mute you. Here, I
Yeah.
got you. I got you. I got you. All right. All right. Brenda's muted. I will say though, our quarterfinal football game against Raton, when we first looked at the weather, Colin and I was like, it was going to be like, you know, low 40s, then getting colder and snowing, and we had a beautiful day. Um, Julian, the only other
Yeah.
question, maybe this is like not, it's too broad, but I was thinking about it with the recruiter policy, and then I've been doing some of this on just the sports side of it. But do we have somebody, are our kind of counselors here, our guidance counselors, are they working as admission, like, or we have something for, I know we only have 34, but for our seniors, just for college stuff, is how kind of active are we planning to be? And then like, or is there anything else? I realized halfway through the football season that we didn't even thought about like how do we get these kids who want to play in college, how do we get them noticed or how do we get them in touch with colleges? And so I built a little program that's kind of athletic focused, but that's going to be just, a handful of kids, especially this year. And I guess it's been so long since I was in high school. I don't remember how this works, but are we doing stuff along that line in terms of like, is UNM or something coming here or anything like that? Have we gotten that far?
Yes. Yes, we've had college fairs. We've taken kids to college fairs. We've taken them to visit several colleges.
Okay, we're going
Um,
to.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
so it's fairly robust for our small 30 students. But if you would like, I would recommend that you have a conversation with
Okay, so
Adrian Garcia and Elizabeth, and they can outline all of the things that they've done.
okay. More so, I just want to see like if there's anything I can help with, or we could, which
Yeah,
I don't, but awesome. Thank you, Julianne. All right, Katie.
thank you, everyone.
All right. So, can you let me share?
Yes, I will allow it this one time. There you go.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Just this once. Yes.
Oh, well, ask me again. I just want to give a blanket yes. Okay.
Oh, dang it.
All right.
I'm sure again. Okay, so late breaking off the hot press. And the reason is because Julianne and I were deciding on the CSP budget today, and we wanted to bake that into your current forecast. And so we do not anticipate spending $1.5 million between now and June 30th. We anticipate spending closer to 600,000. A little more than that. So we put the revenue in here and the expenditures to match the revenue. Now, there are some expenses that we had in our forecast that CSP will cover. So it is helping us with our net operating this year. In addition to that, it will cover some of a marketing like salary. So we put that in. And that's mostly going to help with the marketing and outreach and stuff that Julianne does for the school. So we have had some changes. A lot of our salary changes have to do with overlap, meaning we know someone's leaving in December, but we wanted to get them in there in October, November, so they could learn the job before the person leaves. So
Yeah.
that's where we see some of those increases on the salary side. They're probably not true. That's probably conservative, those numbers right there. But I put them in just to be as conservative as possible. And then in addition to that, we did put in all of our capital outlay money that we have received and we plan to spend this year, and the expenses that go with it, such as the van truck thing, I'll call that we bought. And so overall, we're doing fine. Our forecast has increased on the positive side a little bit. I still think we're going to end with a pretty healthy fund balance, but as things change, this will get updated too. And I did talk to Julianne today about salaries and the trajectory for salaries. One of the things we struggle with, all schools struggle with, are special ed services. And so when you have students with special ed needs, do we have the right staff for that? And if we don't, we need to hire them. And remember, special ed is backwards funded. So we actually don't get the full special ed funding this year, even though we have to serve the students this year. It's all based on last year. So if you get 15 more
I'm
special
sure
ed
there's a
students,
very logical reason for that. That just makes tons of sense.
it's easy accounting for Santa Fe. That's why. Um, so that's the only reason. So because they can do it, they do it for brand new schools. So anyway, that's kind of the update where we are on. We had a few revenue increases, but of course the largest being CSP. And then overall the expenses, some of the areas have moved, some of the expenses have moved between areas, but again, the largest expense increase also was to match the CSP revenue.
Okay. Well, one finance thing I'm very curious about is if and how much the NMAA ever gives us back for the gate from the home football playoff game. Because didn't they take the money? Kyle said he thought maybe we get something back, like they cover expenses, then there's something left for us at the end of it.
I mean, maybe they do. I haven't seen anything. I mean,
well, I'm sure this would be like a 6 to 8 month process or something like
yeah,
that.
I mean, it'll be 2029. Then we'll see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, well, let me know if we do. Thank you, Katie. Okay, lastly, I think this is before. Oh, so construction report. Kyle is otherwise engaged this evening, and rather than have him, come up with a couple of notes, I want to bring him in to the next meeting so that we can kind of just talk through the whole thing. And I'll probably even just ask for us if we can just in our own times just budget a little extra time because I know we've always had, we still have lots of questions about the construction project. But I didn't want to, he's just finished this crazy football season. I didn't want to, draw him in from McGaffey for this meeting. Katie, one last thing. So we have one more thing before that. I just wanted to ask.
Mhm.
We usually do not meet in December as a board, or that's historically. But we also did not put anything in this agenda about me approving anything while we're gone. Do we need to? Will we need to do that? Like Bart? Okay, it's a short enough break. Okay.
Yeah, we usually don't do that motion for someone to approve stuff
the
until like April or May.
Okay. All right. Last thing, and I've asked Bryn, who earlier this month had the good fortune to go to Hillsdale for their training. And so I wanted Bryn to just kind of share a little bit about what she did and then also what she learned. So Bryn, I'm going to mute my, I'm going to unmute, oh, here. All right, I'm going to mute mine and I'm going to unmute you so that they can hear from your side. Okay. Where are you? All right. You see that?
Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah, it was a really positive experience, and I'm really sad that I didn't go out there sooner. I didn't realize that it's something that as board members, it's kind of part of our relationship with Hillsdale that we go out within our first year to year and a half being on the board. So I know, Rebecca, you're like, whoa, I didn't know that either. And they were very kind in their way of communicating that to me. I know they've always like encouraged us and been very like inviting, but that's their way of saying like, you guys need to come out here. And so
I appreciate the politeness, but I would have liked that message a little more direct, a little more earlier.
And that's actually what I said. I was like, really like we've just been like, oh, it would be awesome to get out there. I hope I can go out there. Yeah, April, November, those are always kind of busy times, but they have a lot of resources to help our board. And Cassidy Klutz is a contact for us. And she is very willing to be helpful. She's said, I would love to like sit in on your board meetings. And then that way she can kind of get a feel for where we're at and kind of help us set up things. One takeaway that I felt, I just felt this pressing thing, I think, because I've been on the board since the founding time. And I know that my time is coming up and I'm grateful that it didn't like prematurely because I do feel this urgency that we do need to have certain policies in place so that as we roll off the board, that the policies are established, that it doesn't matter who's on the board, but that those policies are in place to be able to reflect back onto them. So it's like somebody comes up with a complaint like, hey, why is it da 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 da? It's like, well, let's look at the policy. And it's not Julianne, it's not us. There's a policy and we're all following this policy. We all agreed on this policy. And then that policy carries out longer than the rest of us are all here. So I thought that that was a big takeaway. My question is like, how do we do all of this? You know, when do we do this? Because we come once a month and we meet like this, but we have certain things in our agenda that we need to go through and get done. So how do we accomplish like those extra things, such as calendaring out when we discuss certain things, like putting it on the calendar in March? Every March we go through Jillian's contract or our head administrator's contract. And so there was a lady that I sat next to in one of my classes from a school in Colorado, and they have a very non-basic board. just kidding.
Well,
We're
we
not
don't like
basic.
that. That's boring, Bren. That's boring.
Anyway, they have a high functioning board, and she sent me, I asked her to send me the calendar that they kind of go through, and it's a checklist of things in the month, like when they discuss certain stuff. And I thought that that was helpful. I don't have the program that she uses, but I did forward it to all of you. So if you want to look at that, and I don't know if, I think where we're not doing it's my understanding, Dan, you'll have to correct me if I'm not right in this thinking, but I feel that we can get together as a board, and not because we won't be like voting on certain things, we can get together as a board and have like a work party, like a work meeting where we can discuss some of the things that like we feel like we need to get done or accomplish without voting on anything. And then I don't know when you establish policies. I don't know if you can talk about like certain policies without that and then bring them to the board meeting to then vote on. Is that how that would work? Katie and Dan, do you know?
Yeah, so I can just explain the Open Meetings Act in New Mexico extends to when a quorum of the board meets, and a meeting's defined not only as, like voting and taking action, but discussing public business. And so you couldn't really meet with a quorum of the board to discuss, like policies or something. You'd have to notice that as a meeting. Some boards will do like a board retreat and notice it as a meeting. Now that you have to record them, you have to record it. So that's kind of weird, but some of the boards still do that. The other thing a lot of boards will do to avoid that is do a executive committee. So a committee is not a quorum. And so you could have an executive committee or a policy committee or something meet and do the work to kind of bring something to the board that's ready to go and be approved. And that committee would be able to just meet, however it wants, and there's no minutes or anything for that.
Okay, so you just can't be a quorum. And I think it's probably different in different states, because some of the people I talk to were like, oh yeah, we meet together, we go to coffee and we do this and that, and I'm like, okay, I don't.
Remember, New Mexico
Which
is
you
always
could-
going to be special.
You could have a quorum in an executive committee. You just have to take minutes.
Dan, can you can have
That's what he was saying. I thought.
Anytime you have a quorum of the board and you're talking about public business, you would have to notice it as a meeting and take
so a
minutes
committee
and
just has to
record
be
it.
3 or less.
Committees,
Okay, so the executive committee.
committees are typically less than a quorum.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so anyway, put it on your calendars, April. It's highly worth our time to do this. There were several boards that were there with several members together. Anyway, they treat you very, very well. I did have to pay for my way out there and my rental car, but once I got there, they covered all my food and my hotel. Some boards, I don't know how they have money to do it, but some boards, like, they just go out on their
If you have like
boards fund or whatever. But yeah, so yeah. So anyway, it was very good. I would recommend as a board, including Cassidy in some of our board meetings, maybe as we get going, and then she can kind of give us feedback like, hey, here's maybe some things. Yeah. So they want to help us, and it just, the vision of like what we're a part of was very inspiring to me. Katie, have you been out there?
I have not.
Yeah, it was just to see like the mission of the Barney Charter Schools and the classical education. I just kept thinking like, holy cow, there's so many families that attend Hozho that have no idea how lucky they are. It's just like a charter school that they send their kids to, but they don't know how amazing the classical, you know, mission is. But we have to make sure that we are clearly aligned with, we have to very much understand the mission of our school and run all of our policies and all of our vision through that mission. And when we're, voting on something or thinking about something, we take it back through that because it's so clearly defined. Like, does this truly help us with what we're trying to
Which
do?
makes it easier though.
Yeah.
It makes your job easier.
But we all need to know that, and then we all need to check, like, keep each other checks and balances with that. Trying to think what else. Anyway, yeah, they're a resource that's there for us. And in order to keep our status as a member school, we really have to invest back in that relationship. So, yeah, they were very impressed though with our school. Like, I had several people come up and talk to me different questions like, hey, I heard you guys have athletics. How's that going? And so I heard you guys are graduating your first class. And so your school's been around since blah, 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 and different things like that. And somebody asked me about our houses, our house sorting and like how that works. And they're trying to implement that in their school. And then to go to Hillsdale Academy, which is the very first Barney Charter School that is there in Hillsdale. It's been around for 30 years. So to see this high functioning like school that's been around for 30 years, to walk around and see some of the similarities that we have. Of course, their facilities like so beautiful and they're expanding. But I went into one of the classrooms and just observed, and I just felt enlightened by the conversation. Here, these students are, the teacher is addressing them with top respect, calling them Mr. King and Miss, Montano, and yes, please, and showing such respect to these students. And then these students were speaking out like mature adults discussing deep literature and having deep thoughts about it. And I just was like, the room was beautiful, the whole thing, like the way the students looked in their uniforms, everything. It just was like a very uplifting and beautiful space. And I'm like, that's what we're about, we are up against a lot of hard things where we live and, all that we deal with here. But what we are giving this community is something very beautiful. And I am loving that there's going to be an open house. I don't know what's going to be discussed there. Oh, you said attendance. But I had the feeling like I felt like Mrs. Hillick needs to have an informational night again to just clarify what is a classical education and why are we blessed to have this school. And to just give kind of that elevated vision of like, your kids aren't, this isn't just another school here, but this is a special education. The end.
Yes. That's one of the items that will be at the open house for sure.
Okay.
All right.
Volume down.
Oh, that was the other problem. Yeah. We're good? Okay. Thank you, Bryn, for sharing that. Bryn and I first had this a great discussion actually last Friday night from about, I don't know, 10:30 to 11:30 at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Clovis in the pool, not in the pool, at the pool, while our children, unbeknownst to us, had thrown all of the pool furniture into the pool and got it back out before we
never even did.
In the middle of our conversation, Cam just comes up and asks for Bryn's phone, and we're just talking about this, and then at the end, they're like, "Did you guys notice that we put all the pool furniture in the pool?" Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But like in part of that discussion, it was so great to hear about her time there, and I it's dressed a little bit, just kind of, I think that, there's when a organization starts, any kind, a nonprofit, you have to have a board. But when a board and organization are young, it's hard to know kind of where you kind of focus on doing the basics, like and that's kind of what we've been doing, for the first 7 years, and the basics can cover a lot, and it has to be done, and it's statutory and compliance stuff, and it's crucial. But then you get to a point here, and I think there is an opportunity, not an obligation, but an opportunity to kind of go from more of a statutory board to a more kind of strategic partner engaged board.
They actually talked about that, the steps of the board.
Yeah.
We are into that next phase.
Yeah.
We have to take it up to that place.
And it can feel, I think it can feel impossible or daunting or feel like, oh, there's so much. Oh, if we want to get to there's so much we have to do. But what I was saying to Brandon, what I believe is true, is you have an idea of where you want to get, but then the way you go about it and the way you actually make it happen is you just start taking a little bit more on. And I think I've been saying this message for a while now that's what I want to see us do. Just that's who I want us to be for Julianne, kind of this partner who she can say, I don't have time for this, or I don't know how to do with this, and that she can kind of come and bring problems or kind of ask for help from the board and just leave it with us, and then on our own kind of figure out how to turn around and help provide her and provide the school what they need. But it's never going to happen all at once, but it's not going to be, it's not going to be as maybe daunting as it seems because it really is just one thing at a time. Just making things, finding a way to make things a little bit better, to be a little bit more of an asset and ally to the school over time, and that's it. That's how it'll happen. So um, I think we're starting the process of that, and then we just got to stay focused on it. So yeah. Uh, but thank you. And I would love to get out there.
Again, Mike, I had a question with Julianne on academics. Is there any new findings that we've had with academics?
Julianne, I don't know if you heard that, but Bryn wants to know if there were any new findings, academic findings.
Any more findings on the framework?
No, she's
Is
there.
that what she means for the PEC, our performance framework? Or does she mean audit findings?
No, I'm just curious, like, have we had any other like testings come in since we've discussed last?
Oh, she mean like any more results? I think like scores and stuff like that. Okay.
No, yes and no. We have our scores. What I was hoping for was to have the breakdown to compare how our high school did to the other high schools in the area. But unfortunately, the way the state has us as one school, it's kindergarten through 12th grade, and those individual grade band, so like high school scores, are not they're not separate. So they're not going. So we do know there are probably two elementary schools that did slightly better than we did. There might be two schools in the district that did better than we did, maybe by just like a sliver of points. But it's not official because it doesn't come from the state. It's only my guessing at looking at their numbers compared to us. But also baked into those numbers on the Vista reports, because you can go online to the Vista reports are updated. So you can go online and see how we did compared to other schools in New Mexico. So vistas.org, I think is what it's the website, but you won't be able to see how our elementary did compared to other elementaries, or how our middle school did to other middle schools, or our high school to other high schools. But you can see our overall score, but part of those scores have other things like your attendance, your graduation rate, which we don't have yet, and so it's hard to compare apples to apples. And I was hoping that when that Vista report came out that we'd be able to see more clearly, because we hadn't had a high school score before. But unfortunately, because we're a K-12 school, it's not going to separate it on the Vistas. So, but you can see how we did compared to other schools overall.
Awesome. Okay, no comments from the community, unless my dad had something, but he just went to use the bathroom, so we don't have that either. So, all right, we will adjourn.